So, my name is Fatima Abdul, and I have been searching for this person or entity or whatever that's being blamed for everything that's going wrong in South Africa. And that is called apartheid. So as you can see, I am actually at a graveyard because that is where apartheid actually belongs. Just in case you don't understand, apartheid is not a person. Apartheid is not a race. Apartheid was a system that was designed to preserve one group of people at the expense of the majority of people. Nou, ek wil bitter graag hê mense moet nie hulle self mislei nie. Apartheid was en sal vir altyd die slegste ding wees wat in ons land gebeur het. Want in die naam van apartheid het een volk 'n ander volk vernietig. Reg? Mense het mekaar doodgemaak in die naam van apartheid. Jong mans was opgekommandeer uit hulle skoolbanke uit op die ouderdom van 17 in die naam van apartheid onder die vaandel van die feit dat hulle land moet beskerm teen sogenaamde terroriste wat eintlik mede-Suid-Afrikaners was, maar net omdat hulle van 'n ander velkleur of 'n ander ras was hierdie jong mense geïndoktrineer om te sê dit is die vyand. In die naam van apartheid was mense, people were tortured, people were killed in the name of this system called apartheid. There are still bodies around South Africa. There are still young people that needs to be accounted for. In the name of apartheid, people were tortured to the effect that they were sometimes beaten, their legs broken, they were set alight, and they were chopped up, and their bodies were scattered all over. All of that happened in the name of apartheid. Now, I am not going to go into the detail as to who did what, because people know who did what. In the name of apartheid, black on black violence was incited, instigated, and provided for. In the name of apartheid, people were encouraged to hate a race or different races in South Africa. So please, do not think that I am being ignorant when I say I am looking for apartheid. In the name of apartheid, specifically in the Western Cape, people were removed from their dwelling places and placed in places where they are currently killing one another for territory, and gangsterism and drug abuse is the order of the day. It is because of the direct actions of what was done under the apartheid era, waar mense net geplaas was van die een plek na die ander plek. Dit het gebeur in al die gedeeltes van Suid-Afrika. Nou as mense vir my sê, maar ek weet nie van apartheid nie, dit was nooit in my lewe gewees nie. Ek het dit nooit ervaar nie, jy het dit nie ervaar nie, want dit was nie aan jou gedoen nie, jy was nie aan die ontvangskant van die lelik wat gebeur het in Suid-Afrika nie. Dit het jou nie geraak nie, dit het jou eintlik bevoordeel. So let us not be ignorant where that is concerned. Okay, so apartheid was exactly 46 years old when it was abolished. It was created and designed and executed from 1948, and it was abolished and cancelled and stopped in 1994. Fast forward 33 years later, just to show you how successful the system of apartheid was, ingrained in people's minds that they cannot look beyond what had happened 30 years beyond ago. that they are still wanting to blame the system called apartheid for the wrongs that they are doing today. And I am speaking against that. Ek is gekant teen dit, want as ons aanhoudend 'n stelsel gaan blameer vir dit wat vandag tans gebeur, dan gaan ons nooit verder vorentoe gaan. In die naam van apartheid word, nie in die naam van die apartheid nie, apartheid word misbruik in die volgende instansies, and I'm going to mention this in English so that everyone can understand. 30 years later, after the abolishment of apartheid, the so-called liberators, now the ANC was the best liberation movement in South Africa. There's also the UDF, there's also the Black Sash. Everybody was fighting for the same thing, and in the end they were actually fighting one another because the system that was stronger than those movements is and was apartheid geweest. The best thing that a system can do is to turn people against one another. A statesman died a few days ago, and today there's mixed feelings. Some people feel, may he rest in peace. Other people feel, may he go to hell. And it is all because of what had happened in our history. Now, history, as my brother always says, we must remember history so that we can never repeat and embrace history ever again in our lives. But we must know what our history is. The history of apartheid is real. It is not something that you can deny. Don't go into denial where that is concerned. But what we cannot do is perpetuate and extend the narrative and the spirit of apartheid, which is causing so much division in our country today. So in the name of the fact that this current government who found a country, yes, that was designed for only a small group of people, which excluded the rest of the people. They found a fiscus full of money, and they found a country that's structure was still intact. Now, with all of that they found and that they got, they have managed to mess up this country lock, stock and grendel. The following things are being blamed for something that died 30 years ago. I will start with the recent things. The fact that 100 officials have stolen money from our old people, you cannot blame apartheid for that. The fact that qualified medical doctors are unable to find jobs, you cannot blame apartheid for that. The fact that we have illiterate teachers standing in front of our children teaching them I don't know what is not apartheid's responsibility. The fact that there's hijacked buildings in our country, in our cities, you cannot blame apartheid for that. The fact that we have illiterate public servants that's just getting paid for whatever. Kader employments, you cannot blame apartheid for that, right? Let me go up there. 77 people died a few weeks ago. Apartheid was blamed. No, sorry, you cannot blame apartheid for that. The Zamazamas that are illegally mining and hollowing our cities, sorry, you cannot blame apartheid for that. Young men that are killing one another daily in the Cape Flats and wherever, Eldorado Park and those places, you cannot blame apartheid for that. I am sorry. 30 years later, you can't do that. Because 30 years later, surely all the leaders that were part of the change of this country should have seen to it that those communities are better positioned. Everybody, every colored person, every colored person that is sitting in parliament and in different positions in government right now, and for the past 30 years, they are directly responsible for not addressing the plight of the people that are in that position. Unemployment and the exclusion of employment of certain races. No, you can't blame apartheid for that. Farmers being slaughtered daily. Sorry, you can't blame apartheid for that. The so-called president lies and he steals and then he gets away with it. Not apartheid. The ministers in cabinet also stealing and lying. Now they're starting new parties. No, not apartheid is called. The Minister of Police is in denial, old and freaking stupid. Not apartheid's fault. The Parliament cabinet is filled with old people with dementia and freaking retardation. It's not apartheid's fault. SAP's members are getting killed or assassinated every week without consequences. There's no consequential management in this country. Is it apartheid's fault? No, it's not. Load shedding and cable theft. Now let's stop here. Apartheid is being blamed for the fact that we have load shedding today, and the argument is yes, in the apartheid years it was only catered for white people. Hello. And then 30 years ago a new government started. Money was in in government. The infrastructure needed to be expanded. More grids was supposed to be built, but because money was stolen, it wasn't done. So don't use that argument. It's a stupid, pathetic argument to use and to say that because of apartheid they didn't cater for everybody. Now there is load shedding. You stole the money. That is why there's load shedding. That is why you could not build more grids. Law enforcement is being stifled due to a lack of resources, proper training and competence. It's not apartheid's fault. Sorry, human trafficking and child trafficking is on the increase. There's no consequential management. There's laws and there's bylaws that's cancelling everything that needs to be done. Senior citizens living below the breadline. No, it's not apartheid's fault. Sorry. The health system is pathetic, rotten to the core. It is not apartheid's fault. The justice system is captured and flawed. It is not apartheid's fault. Now we can go on and on and on and on. It is the responsibility of the current government for everything that has gone. It is hulle skuld. We blame you for everything that has gone wrong in this country the past 30 years. So forget about blaming apartheid for that. I will never speak good about apartheid. Apartheid, for all I can go to hell, because it was designed demonically. It was an evil system, and I will never speak good of it. But you cannot continue to blame a dead system and keep the spirit of that system alive by blaming it each time. Man up or get out. So I want to say, with peace in my heart, that you, ANC government, you need to get ready to step out, because your time is running out. You can only mislead a few people that are ignorant and illiterate. But the majority of our people are very much literate, very much knowledgeable, very much noise. You'll take this on. I want you to look at the graves and see and understand that you cannot keep something alive unless you want to use that as a scapegoat and not take responsibility for your own actions. Blaming apartheid for all the wrongs in this country is the weakest, the lowest that you can go to. There is hope. All the new people that are currently in government, or not in government as yet completely, but moving into that direction, I encourage you, and I encourage all the civilians of South Africa to take responsibility and to man up and to move this rotten, evil, to the core party out of parliament. They must never have the privilege to govern this country ever again.